In early September 2025, travel agencies and Nigerian news outlets began reporting something very crazy. Qatar's government had apparently banned Nigerian men from traveling alone to their country. The report said single guys couldn't get tourist or transit visas unless they came with family. And get this, they had to book 5-star hotels and show return tickets before even applying. But here's the thing, this story is way bigger than just Qatar. Although Qatar quickly said these reports were fake, but the damage was already done. This story revealed something we all know but hate to admit. Nigerian passport holders are getting shut out everywhere. From Lagos to London, from Abuja to Amsterdam, it's becoming almost impossible for regular Nigerians to travel anywhere. Just 2 months before this Qatar drama, America cut Nigerian visa validity from years down to just 3 months. One entry, that's it. The UK started sending deportation threats to Nigerian students. Remember the UAE mess? They banned Nigerian travelers completely for 2 years, only lifting it in July 2024, but with very strict visa rules in place. The numbers are crazy because right now, Europe rejects 45.9% of Nigerian visa applications. That means nearly every other Nigerian who applies gets told no. We are talking about business people, students, families just trying to visit relatives, all getting rejected left and right. So what's really going on here? Why are these countries suddenly so scared of Nigerians? They will tell you it's all about visa overstays, fake documents, and people claiming asylum. Immigration officers point to statistics showing Nigerians don't always go back home when they are supposed to. Some European officials privately worry about economic migrants pretending to be tourists. But when you check social media and hear what travelers are actually saying, you get a different story. Nigerians are sharing horror stories about embassy interviews where they face discrimination. They are getting crazy document requests that seem designed to make them fail. Visa officers act like they've already decided to say no, even before looking at the applications. So is this really about security, or are we watching systematic discrimination against the world's biggest black nation? Are these policies protecting borders, or is this economic warfare to keep Nigerians locked up inside Africa? Today, we are diving deep into how Nigeria became the world's most rejected nation, how our collapsing economy made other countries suspicious, and why this crisis could decide the future of 220 million Nigerians. Let's get into it. On September 5th, 2025, one WhatsApp message completely changed everything for Nigerian men trying to get to Qatar. The message spread like fire on social media. Instagram stories, Twitter posts, Facebook shares. Everyone was talking about the same shocking news. Qatar has supposedly banned solo Nigerian men from entering the country. Within hours, travel agencies couldn't handle all the panic caused. Wedding plans in Doha got cancelled. Business trips were put on hold. Nigerians looking to transit through Qatar started scrambling for other routes. The alleged restrictions were harsh. Only women and families could apply for visas. Nigerian men traveling by themselves were completely blocked unless they brought family with them. Even worse, everyone had to book expensive 5-star hotels and show confirmed return tickets just to apply. What made the Qatar story blow up wasn't just the restrictions itself. It was how easily Nigerians believed it. Nobody questioned if it was real. Nobody said, this can't be true. Instead, everyone just resigned themselves to it. Here we go again. The government stayed quiet for days. No diplomatic intervention. No official questions asked. Just silence while citizens freaked out about another door closing. Then Qatar denied everything. Officials said the reports were false rumors and that no restrictions have been put on Nigerians. But the damage was already done. The story has spread worldwide, and worse, it shows something scary about how the world sees Nigeria. But Qatar's denial raises a terrifying question. If this was just a rumor, Why did millions of Nigerians immediately believe it was true? Qatar's story may have been a rumor, but this next one is not a rumor, it's a confirmed fact. 45.9%. That's not a test score. That's how many Nigerian visa applications Europe rejects every single day. Almost every other Nigerian who applies for a European visa gets rejected. We are not talking about people with criminal records or fake passports. We are talking about business owners, university students, parents trying to visit their kids, all getting told they are not welcome to Europe. Europe processed 11.7 million visa applications in 2024. For African applicants, they rejected 30% on average, twice the global average. But Nigeria, we are in our own terrible category at 45.9%, up from 40.8% in 2023. Look at other countries for comparison. Asian applicants get rejected 14% less than Africans, even though they submit twice as many applications. Even within Africa, Nigeria is among the worst. Comoros leads at 62.8%, then Guinea-Bissau at 47%. Senegal is at 46.8%, and Nigeria comfortably sits at 45.9%. This is what Nigerians face today. Having proper documents doesn't matter anymore. Having sponsors doesn't matter either. Having bank accounts doesn't matter. It seems like they decide to reject you even before looking at your application. Social media is full of stories about Nigerians spending millions of naira on visa applications just to get rejected for crazy reasons. But Europe is just the beginning. Wait until you see what America just did to Nigerian travelers. In July 2025, the US Embassy in Lagos sent a message that basically destroyed decades of Nigerian-American relations with one single paragraph. The message was simple but brutal. All Nigerian visa holders would now get single entry visas valid for just 3 months. No more multiple entry visas. No more 2-year validity. No more 5-year business visas. Just 3 months, 1 entry, and you are done. This wasn't just a policy change. It was basically declaring war on Nigerian mobility. The US said they were doing this because of visa reciprocity, claiming Nigeria gives similar restrictions to American citizens. But that was a straight-up lie. Nigeria's presidential spokesperson quickly said that Nigeria still gives 5-year multiple entry visas to US nationals. The reciprocity excuse was just a cover story. The real reasons were more disturbing. They talked about concerns with secure travel documents, visa overstay management, and information sharing. Basically code word for "we don't want Nigerians." The policy also hit Cameroon, Ethiopia, and Ghana. But Nigeria, being Africa's biggest country, got hit the hardest. The timing was especially cruel because this happened right when Nigeria was going through its worst economic crisis in decades, making visa fees, often over 200,000 Nigerian naira, even harder for regular families to afford. Nigerian businesses started counting the cost. Multiple visa applications, lost opportunities, cancelled partnerships. The visa warfare was working exactly like they wanted. So while America was cutting Nigerian access, the UK was preparing for something even worse. Imagine getting a text message from the UK government saying, "Leave now or we will deport you." 10,000 Nigerian students just got that kind of message. The text was scary. If you have no legal right to remain in the UK, you must leave. If you don't, we'll remove you. For the first time ever in UK history, the Home Office was sending direct deportation threats through text messages and emails to international students. The text messages warned that asylum applications lacking merit will be quickly and firmly rejected. But here is the widest part. Many Nigerian students were asking for asylum precisely because things in Nigeria had gotten so bad that going home had become too dangerous. Because between July 2024 and June 2025, over 41,000 asylum claims were made by people who had entered the UK legally on visas, with students making up the biggest group. In 2024 alone, 16,000 asylum claims were made by international students, almost 6 times higher than in 2020. But instead of asking why so many Nigerians no longer feel safe going home, the UK government chose intimidation. Nigeria in 2025 was dealing with unprecedented insecurity, economic collapse, and political instability. The psychological damage was devastating because Nigerian students started forming WhatsApp groups to share information about these deportation threats. Parents in Nigeria panicked, wondering if their children would be forced to quit school and come home. The UK also removed over 100 job categories from visa sponsorships and increased salary requirements by 30%, effectively pricing out most Nigerian workers. But why are Western countries suddenly so afraid of Nigerians? The real reason will shock you. Now, they claim Nigerians overstayed their visas, but the data shows a conspiracy of discrimination that goes way deeper than anyone can imagine. Here's what they don't want you to know. Nigeria's actual overstay rates aren't nearly as bad as they claim. US Department of Homeland Security data shows that for countries without visa waiver programs, the overall overstay rate in 2023 was just 3.2%. Students and exchange visitor categories showed rates between 3.5 to about 8%, depending on the visa type. Now compare that to Chad, another African country, which reportedly had overstay rate of about 50%, or other countries that face fewer restrictions despite having worse numbers. The overstay excuse is just selective enforcement designed to discriminate against specific nations. But let's talk about why Nigerians overstay visas in the first place. It's not because they want to become illegal immigrants. It's because Nigeria's economy has collapsed so badly that coming home has become an economic death sentence. Nigeria's GDP per capita has been stuck for years. Unemployment hits over 40% of young people. Inflation has made basic goods unaffordable. The naira has lost over 70% of its value against the dollar. In this situation, overstaying a visa isn't necessarily a criminal behavior. It's a survival instinct. But here's the real conspiracy. Western countries actually prefer Nigeria's economic weakness because it gives them leverage. They want Nigerian oil, Nigerian market, and Nigerian consumers, but they don't want Nigerian people. They want to exploit our own natural resources while keeping our citizens trapped inside our borders. Think about it like this. South African passport holders, despite having one of Africa's strongest passports with access to 106 countries, can only access 15.5% of global GDP visa-free. For Nigerians with access to just 45 countries, this drops to about 1.4% of global GDP. This isn't an accident. It's by design. The visa restrictions serve multiple purposes. They stop Nigerian entrepreneurs from building global businesses that could compete with Western companies. They prevent Nigerian students from getting the best education and bringing that knowledge back home. They make sure Nigerian professionals stay trapped in low-wage jobs instead of earning global market rates. The overstay excuse is just scratching the surface. What's really happening involves money, power, and keeping Africa's giants locked up. And it all has to do with the economic meltdown that is currently happening in Nigeria. Even within Africa, Nigerians still face hostility. You would expect African solidarity. But when Ghana heard of signs saying Nigerians must go, even as early as this September, a few days ago, it exposed a painful truth. Even our African brothers don't want us. The scenes from Accra were heartbreaking. Ghanaian protesters carried signs reading "End kidnapping," "End prostitution," "End armed robbery," "End fraud," and "End ritual murders," all blamed on Nigerians. One protester shouted, "Our kids are going missing because of Igbos. They even have an Igbo king in Ghana." This wasn't just random anger. It was the result of years of documented Nigerian criminal activities across Africa. Now, in July 2025, 76 Ghanaians were trafficked to Nigeria through fake football recruitment schemes, only to be forced into cybercrime operations. The irony was devastating. Ghana, which benefited from Nigerian help during their 1980s economic crisis, was now rejecting Nigerians. South Africa has been even more worse. Multiple deadly attacks on Nigerians since 2008 have killed over 100 people. But here is the uncomfortable truth we need to face. Some of this hostility may be justified because Interpol's Operation Jackal 3 resulted in 3,000 arrests of West African crime groups with Nigerian networks heavily involved. In the largest online fraud case in US history, 77 out of 80 people charged were Nigerians. Nigerian drug trafficking organizations control drug markets across sub-Saharan Africa and operate globally. In August 2025, Nigeria deported about 102 foreign nationals involved in cybercrime rings, but the damage to our reputation was already done. Morocco now only allows Nigerians with valid UK, US, or European visas to apply for their e-visas. Without these visas, Nigerians have to apply through embassies with extensive documentation requirements. The pattern is clear. Nigerian criminal behavior abroad has created a circle of restrictions and discrimination. Even countries that should be our natural allies in Pan-African unity are now turning against us. Travel industry professionals now call for Nigeria to pass laws punishing citizens who commit crimes abroad, including taking away passports for up to 10 years for those convicted of overseas crimes. But here is the most shocking part. Why these countries ban and deport Nigerians for criminal behavior, the Nigerian government keeps ignoring calls for accountability. The Nigerian passport, 88 in the world, access to just 45 countries. But what if I told you this ranking isn't an accident, it's by design? Because over the past decade, Nigeria has suffered the worst drop in passport power of any major nation. We've fallen 19 places since 2010, going from 79th position to now 88th position. This isn't just a number, it represents the systematic exclusion of 220 million people from global opportunities. Here's how this apartheid system works. People with Seychelles passports can visit 156 countries. Mauritius citizens can access 159 countries. Even South Africa, despite all its problems, gives its citizens access to about 106 countries. But Nigeria, just 45 countries, representing only 1.4% of global GDP. This isn't about security or economic concerns alone. It's about maintaining global inequality. The same countries that colonized Africa and stole our resources for centuries are now using visa restrictions to make sure we stay economic slaves in our own continent. The Henley Global Mobility Report confirms what we already know. Countries with stronger passports grow faster, are more innovative, and give higher income to their citizens. Countries like Nigeria with weak passports stay trapped in circles of poverty and underdevelopment. But there is hope, because the African Union's e-passport project aims to eliminate visa requirements for travel within Africa. If done right, this could create a market of 1.4 billion people where Nigerians can move freely. We also need to hold our government accountable. Why should Nigerian criminals abroad face no consequences at home? Why should our leaders travel on diplomatic passports while ordinary citizens face discrimination? Why should we accept a system that treats us like second-class humans? The question isn't whether these restrictions will get worse. It's whether Nigerians will finally fight back. What happens next could change everything for 220 million people. Now, if you have watched to this point, this is Frontline Africa. Here we talk about geopolitics from Africa's perspective. In today's episode, it's all about Nigeria and the kind of apartheid system we face all around the world. I know Nigerians have bad reputation. I can never deny that. There are a lot of criminal Nigerians, cyber criminals, and there are also good Nigerians. There are also professionals. There are also Nigerians that are innovative. So if you are in Africa or anywhere in the world that have come in contact with Nigerians, maybe you could come to the comment section and clear the air. Tell us exactly what you have experienced with Nigerians outside Africa or outside Nigeria. We want to know from word on the street. Let's go beyond the official report for a moment. Tell us exactly what you feel about this problem that Nigeria is having with almost every country in the world. As a matter of fact, the one that broke my heart most is our own brother Ghana rejecting us. That was it for me. So if you want to see more of my content, maybe consider to subscribe and turn up those notifications. I am your host, Ezekiel Enejeta, and I will see you in the next one. It's a bye-bye for now.